Okay, here's a restart. We'll continue. Turn on Vav, Yom Bikurim, Sif Vav. So after we went over the fact that every Jew has a Bechina of Malchus. He has authority. People listen to him. People are under him. Spear to them. Each one according to his Bechina. There's some people who actually listen to him. And some people he doesn't even know the neshama is under his neshama, and he has a job. He needs to use his malchus, his authority, his influence, as you want, to let the people, all the neshamas that are under his authority, to straighten them out, keep them honest, keep them on the straight and narrow. Remind them that they have to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And this is being accomplished by Esek Torah. The person who learns Torah is Esek in the Torah. And when he's doing that, when a person does that, he is mamshich, he is drawing arichas yomim and das into the malchus. Arichas yomim, because we say any position of authority is a position of danger. Rabbanus mekaberes es be'aleh, it buries the office holders. The reason why it does that is because, this is din and nefoshes. The people that are under him, if they sin and they don't do what they need to do, so there's a punishment that awaits them. Balagan. Now, if they are your underlings, they are the ones that you're supposed to speak to, you're supposed to set them straight. And a person doesn't do that, so they will get punished for their averos. But since the person who was above them did not set them straight, did not use his position of authority to influence them, to bring him back to what they needed to do, to admonish them, to call them out. Since he doesn't do that, so he is also punished. That's the pshat rabbanos, the position of authority, mekaberes es be'aleh. It shortens the life of those who own that position of authority. So this is arichas yomim. And arichas yomim comes from das. And when a person is mamshich yomim and das to the malchus, to his authority, with this he reveals the astora shevetoch astora and turns it into Torah. Because people are far away from Torah and from mitzvahs. Either the Bichlal have nothing to do with the Kodesh Baruch Hu Bichlal. They don't even know of a Kodesh Baruch Hu. This is called Astor Shebetoch Astor. Or they know of Kodesh Baruch Hu. Maybe they were even close to Kodesh Baruch Hu at one time, but they fell off the wagon. If a person repeats his foolishness, it becomes okay, that's what we do, like that's life. And then there are those who actually know that you're supposed to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but they feel incapacitated. They feel like, listen, It's beyond me. Just beyond me. And I'm not going to succeed. I'm not going to. They are all the people who are in Astora, because if they would realize what's at stake, they would, like wake up from their slumber and from the stupidity. Well, like, oh, what do you think? The person lives forever? It's like but they're asleep. Now that cover, that secrecy, that Torah in itself is a metzias that is created by a Kadosh Baruch Hu. There's a Kadosh Baruch Hu in it. In the act of concealment itself, there is the Koyach HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because without HaKadosh Baruch Hu, nothing can exist. So even the fact that Hashem is concealed, it's also in the Koyach HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That concealment, not just that Hashem is concealed in it, but the concealment itself has Hashem in it. Even lo alei machshavos and diburim and ma'asim of aveira mamash also have the Kodesh Baruch Hu in it. And the way that the Kodesh Baruch Hu is embedded in every mitzias and every reality is through the letters of the Torah. The Oisei of Torah. Amen. Every single letter is a portal that constricts and steps down the infinite Koyach HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and like measure it down according to the way and what and how of that particular reality that has to be created. Now, Dafka in those places, in the Astora, the Torah that is embedded in it, that creates that Astora, is Dafka the highest Torah that there is. It's Sisu Torah. And if you ask why, in such places, if a person is lo aleinu b'astor shebetoch Astora, you can imagine that he's not busy with Torah and mitzvahs all day long, right? In fact, quite the opposite. So why put such a treasure, Sisu Torah, in such places? The answer is that the story is the metzias of the klipos, the husks, the tumah. The tumah derives its koyach from being in the shade, being in the dark, where HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not evident. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not evident. It's not golui v'bar. The place where HaKadosh Baruch Hu is golui v'bar, it cannot exist. The metzias is a star, the klipos, the defilement, the tumah. In the presence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu is open, they cannot exist. The klipos, the tumah. Yeah. So the difference in the different divrei Torah, pshat, remesh, jas, sod, is in the intensity of the gilui, of the expression, of the relation of Hashem Yisbarach. In pshat of the Torah, was basically, there's a Beklolius, we speak about the Mitzvah Kadosh Baruch Hu. Kadosh Baruch Hu took us out of Mitzrayim, gave us Torah, and so forth and so on. But in this such a close, even the Goyim know about that. Even the Goyim know about it. They call it the Bible, right? They call it the good book, whatever he's talking. They all know about it. Yeah, Walters, whatever it is. Yeah. And but the deeper the Torah gets, the more clear is the Metzias of Kadosh Baruch Hu. The more brightly it shines. In the Sisra Torah, the Metzias of Kadosh Baruch Hu is so blatant. It's like the sun. Boom. If that were to be exposed, the klippas just cease to exist. They burn out. That's the reason why the Oises Torah, the Divrei Torah that are embedded, that make up the Metzias of the Astorah, is Dafka Sisra Torah. Because if it would have been simpler levels of Torah, the klippas could siphon from it. It could leach from it. But so what happens is when a person is machnis, is das, is learning, is oisik b'Torah, and he interject the dat into the malchus, into his own malchus, what happens is that das turns the Hastorah, the Metzias, the reality of Hastorah, flips it over and reveals the Torah that it's made of. It's like somebody would take an X-ray. From the outside, it looks like a cover. You take an X-ray, MRI, whatever it is, suddenly it shows you what it's made of. So it flips it over, and boom, the Metzias of the Torah is revealed. Then the Torah, which is in the Torah itself, is calling out to the people and says, yo, hey, time out. Where do you think you're going? The Torah says, not exactly these words. It says, Ad Mosai Psoim Tevu Pesim. Until when you fools will be enraptured and in love with foolishness. Wake up. And this is Megal the Astor Shebetoch Astor. And reveals it to them. And this is, now Rabbeinu is going to talk about that there's another aspect, which before we said that Mitzad Echad, the neshamas that are in the Astorah, as we spoke about it last week, the neshamas that are within the Astorah, they're captured, they are jailed by the Sitra Achra, this is Malchus Haman Amalek, and the way that the Sitra Achra keeps them captured is by gathering a lot of money. People are fascinated with money. They're fascinated by people who have money. They're fascinated by the trappings of wealth. It's like stuff dreams are made of. You ask somebody, what are you going to do if you win the lottery? I remember I asked my Rav once, many years ago, what are you going to do if you win the lottery? He said to me, I'm going to give you half. I'm going to give you half. It's the first thing he said. If I win the lottery, I'm going to give you half. It's just like, as a person who's outside of the game, he's not playing those games. He says, you ask a question, I'm going to give you half.
Very big Musser happened in Singapore. Boy won $4 billion, and he had a heart attack. This is a strong Musser.
Yeah,
he died of a heart attack.
Actually, there are many stories like this. That the vast majority of the people vast majority, practically everyone. The exceptions are very rare of people that win the lottery.
Yeah.
Within a year or two, they become balachaylis, tremendous balachaylis.
Yeah.
And the reason for it is because they don't have the kalim to hold the wealth.
Can't handle it.
They can't handle it. They don't have the kalim to handle it. I remember I told my Rav a story that I heard. It was years ago. There was a person in I think they also need. There was a person in Japan. A guy in his, I don't know, his 50s, whatever, that won the big prize in the lottery. And he actually thought about it. And he figured out, if I'm going to, if I get all this money, says, I'm not going to feel at home with the wealthy people because they're going to look at me as, a Johnny come lately, You didn't work for the money. You didn't inherit the money. Just boom, drove the, of the luck, whatever it is. And you got your money. By the way, in America, where they virtually worship money, and people that have money, people that won money in a lottery are nothing. Okay, one day, whatever it is, and then nothing. Nobody knows of them. They're not celebrities, nothing. You notice that? Because they didn't do anything for it. It's golnish. It's not theirs. I mean, it's like even Americans that worship money, it's not theirs. It's not to do with that. So Sitra Achra, by having the wealth and the cars and the yachts and the private planes, and what it keeps the people attracted like bees to honey, like flies to honey. Everybody's attracted. The neshamas that are in the Astar are attracted to the money. That's the way it keeps them trapped. Keep them nailed. This is Malchus Amalek is me'asef moment. It collects money. Mine. Everything is mine. Whatever you see is mine. How you say it's yours, it's not. It's mine. Masha'en Ken, Malchus de Kedusha is Machne Dan. Dan is the last camp, and it helps the people that fell off the wagon, to come back to Kodesh Baruch Hu. That's a Malchus de Kedusha. Zelo mazeh, Malchus de Tumah, Malchus de Kedusha. Rabbeinu is going to explain that commensurately with flipping over the astar, the concealment, and creating a gdolas hadas, the real das, becomes greater. It makes parnasa much easier. Parnasa. Now I want to know. Hagdolas hadas. When the star becomes revealed and the task becomes greater, parnasa becomes much easier, and rachmanis becomes much more prevalent, and the shalom becomes much more prevalent. The das, the seichel amiti, the Malchus Kedusha reveals the astara. Parnasa is easier, rachmanis is more accessible, and shalom is more prevalent. Yeah. Because all these things, when parnasa is bekoishi, and rachmanis is hard to find, and the shalom does not exist. These are all attributes of hastara, of darkness, frankly, of stupidity. What are you arguing? What is this for? What is this all about? You see the I'm not even talking about the Arabs, Michiganers, but theirs is total taiva. The whole thing is just taiva, is anti-Semitism and taiva. You know, they have a taiva to muratzeach, to kill. It's a gewaltige taiva to kill. It's a power trip. You know, there was some time ago they took they found a 12-year-old Arab kid was walking around with, you know, with a explosive belt, you know, and he was captured. And they asked him, where did he get it from? So it says the people that gave it to him told him that if he does it, he goes and he blows himself up, you know, by the Eden, they're going to give him 100 shekels. Yes. So he went, you know, that's Nobel Prize future winner, right? Yeah, just go ahead, blow up 100 shekels. We're going to give you. Ah, okay. Okay. It's like, I mean, you come to think of it. Look what, you know, Russia with Ukraine. What do you get out of it? What do you get out of it? What do you need this for? What's the point? What's the point? Shtus. Tembel. Tembel. You know what tembel is? Moron. Yeah. It's just a lack of das. It's idiocy. It's sheer idiocy. But the Arabs, you can say this is sinner, this is hatred. Okay, I can understand. But over there, what bothers you? Let's say you have a few more kilometers. Okay, no, now what? Me. What? What kind of narrowskeit? Somebody has a das meeting. Whatever is yours. But if you need help, I'll give you a little bit also. I'll help you. Finish. Why is this narrowskeiten? No, it's mine. You know, I stood in Osha'ad, I was weighing vegetables. And the guy comes, you know, with the single thing, he says, can I weigh them? And I said, can you stand on line? And I look at you. I'm like, stupid. Why did I say no? Because he just came over to the front of the line. So what? You know, yeah, but it's, you know, it got my dender up. You know, it's like you know, it hurts my ego. I don't know, whatever it is. No, this kite. I was so sorry I did that. So I thought, go ahead, put your stuff. It's just like, you know, but the first thing, no. Why not? No. No, but it's just like it's very common. You know, it's like, you know, if somebody parks in somebody else's parking spot, forget about it. You can come with changing iron, you know, with tire iron and bash a person's brain open. Road rage or whatever it is. I'm just like it's a lack of das. It's a lack of Yeshua das. That's made by the tzaddik who reveals the story of the Torah. Parnasa becomes easier. You don't have to work so hard. Parnasa with ease has to do with das.
It's not still a Rosh Hashanah.
What?
Isn't everything said on Rosh Hashanah how much they're going to make?
The Seder, but even if the parnasa that you get, you still need to do ishtadlus. The ishtadlus is not the thing that creates the parnasa. Ishtadlus is mishamayim, what they tell you that you need to do in order to, you know, to bechira, to say it's not koichi v'otzim it's not my strength and my seichel, but Kodesh Baruch Hu gives it to me. That's the reason. So you have bechira, you know, if everybody that does Torah mitzvahs, everybody just does, you know, that is the one that only does good mitzvahs, he has parnasa. All of those who make averis, you know, will walk around hungry, there'll be no bechira, right? If all the people who learn Torah and do mitzvahs would be wealthy, and all those who do averas would be poor and walk around hungry, there'll be no choice anymore, right? There'll be no bechira. So that's what Kodesh Baruch Hu says, okay, you need to do ishtadlus. In fact, the ishtadlus that a person needs to do, each one according to his understanding, is a tzarech gavoya. It's a very important factor. Not for the parnasa. Parnasa is for free. But there's various tikkunim, masamach be'emuna, being honest, being straight. You see that Yaakov Avinu worked extremely hard. But that's not how he made his money. His money came, his money came about, when the Kodesh Baruch Hu says, okay, now it's the time for you to have the money. So, the more Shtadl Lavan made to reduce Yaakov's wealth, the richer Yaakov became. But the richer Yaakov Avinu became.
Boy tried to stop him?
Yeah, the more Lavan started to stop him and cheat him, and the richer Yaakov Avinu became. If Lavan would say, okay, something, when the sheep and the goats will give birth to yellow sheep with green polka dots, this is what would happen. Every time he changed it, and he changed it, and he changed whatever he changed it to, that's what was born, and this is how Yaakov became so big. And what happened? Lavan and his sons, he didn't have any sons before. All the shefa came because of Yaakov Avinu. They became jaundiced. It's not enough that I'm rich. I also have to have more than you. Suddenly you become rich. I'm sorry. What do you care? Lavan.
But Yaakov became rich.
Yeah, he says, Lavan says, Yaakov has all his richness. Everything. He took everything from our father. This is how he became so rich. What do you care? What do you care? He made you billionaires. Yeah, but he has. Somebody once, I remember years ago, told me a joke. He says that, that aser b'shvil shetit asher. Give meiser so that you'll become rich. So the question is so why don't the people who give meiser all the people that give meiser become rich? So they say, they have $10, they give $1. Then they have $100, they give $10. Then they have $1,000, so they give the poor man $100. Then they make $10,000, and they give the poor person $1,000. Whoa, what's going on here? They make $100,000. Suddenly, the poor person gets $10,000. That's it. I don't want any more money, so I don't have to give it to him. What do you mean this guy didn't do anything? Suddenly get $10,000 from where? That's why they don't get rich, because they stop giving money, because they become jaundiced, that the poor person has. But that's what writes at the Likutey Moharan, that the rich people go around feeling like they deserve everything, and their wives need to have fur coats, and I don't know, fur coats today is not very much in vogue, but in jewelry and this and that, whatever it is, and the poor person has to walk around hungry. It's like everything is coming to them. That's the sitracha. Shema'asaf money that collects money. Listen to the das parnasas benokel, because parnasas benokel toile badas depends on das. Moshe Kosov shotu ha'am veloktu, talking about the man in the desert. So Chazal says, what is shotu? Zohar says shotu ha'am. They wandered around and they collected the man. What is shotu? Shotu is bishtusa. Those that took the man and ground it and hammered it b'medocha. It was shtus, because after everything that they did with the man, the taste was exactly the way it was in the beginning. Nothing changed. That's like a person who is running after money and after wealth day and night, that he doesn't have the emunah in Kodesh Baruch Hu, so he's busy with shtis. Furthermore than that, a person, not only that he wants to make parnasa, which is normal, which is natural, but especially nowadays, people are a profession. They have a profession, it's like, especially as a broker, a lawyer, everybody passes hard times. Everybody goes through hard times. They have good times and bad times. Doesn't matter what level of income you have. If you're wealthy, then you owe millions suddenly. Every person goes through these ups and downs. But the thing is that I can tell you, from my own experience. For years, I used to struggle with parnasa, and it was very hard. It was very hard for me. I became a Baal Chayv and the whole. But, I'm in advertising. I'm a copywriter, It's chashuv. So right now I don't have work, but I'm still a copywriter. I'm still Moshe Goyes. I'm still important. At a certain point in time, I realized, it's a geitnist. I literally need to put food on the table. So that's it. I'm going to work in a supermarket as a cashier. And it was a gewaldige experience. And I remember with somebody I know also became a cashier, and I looked at him, look at him, a gulnist. So I realized I can remain with my gaiva, copywriter, advertising, big dude, and have no money. Or I can just let go of my ego and go to work. It's himself, the whole thing turned over. The Baruch Hashem, Kodesh Baruch has given me a parnasa much easier. You don't have to work in the supermarket. In fact, I was fired from my job in the supermarket. I wasn't good enough. But the point is that I have to tell you, it was a very special time working in this. Do you remember that time when you were in Gimel when I worked in the supermarket in Birkas Moshe? You weren't there, okay.
I remember.
You remember that? Anyhow, so it was the first time that I was on the other side. Usually, what are the cashiers in the supermarket? They're invisible. They're just these people that disturb you, that bother you between picking what you need and going home. Hey, pay. Okay, there's money. But they're not there. Okay, beseder. Today, no shad. You go, you scan your own stuff, and you don't have to see them anymore. And that gave me an amazing opportunity to watch the people that are going by. Because usually when people go around, they're wearing a mask. Who I am in society, I'm a copywriter. And so, people wear the mask that you wear when you speak to a copywriter. And it's not just, nobody, he's a copywriter, I actually remember that I met a guy in the center in Aleph that I haven't seen for a while. There's a guy that, that has this kind of, he asked me, he says, are you still in copywriting? What are you doing today? I said, no, I'm a cashier in a supermarket. Said, oh, okay. It just it became a nothing to him on the spot. Go, I could have said this. So you're a cockroach. No, you're a human cockroach. It's not, you don't count. You're just like on the spot. You're a copywriter, right? So I'm not going to send. Okay. So when the people shop in the supermarket, they're concentrated on themselves. You are nothing. The cashier is nothing. He's invisible. He's not there. So they don't bother to put any social masks on them. And suddenly you see people. If you actually watch them, you see them. You see the guy that is bringing the 7 to 8 empty bottles of wine every week. You make the bottle. You see, somebody who's putting her best clothing to go shopping because she doesn't have anywhere to go. You see all the people that I remember. I felt so sorry for them. So I started giving a bracha. I said, you have a great day. You should bench you. In the beginning, they thought I was nuts. Maybe I was at the end also. But anyhow, they were convinced that I was, out of my cotton picking mind, But as things went along, this was funny for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, but I kept on going. So at the end, people felt, well, it used to come to my line all the time. To get brachas, to hear, you have a good day, how are you? It's just like to be looked at, to be respected. It's just like and when you're willing to give up your ego, your status, your whatever it is, you do what you need to do, and you trust HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and you do what you need to do, parnasa becomes much easier. It's when you dafka want it this way, you dafka want it that way, and you dafka want to keep your ego, whatever, this parnasa becomes this is a shtus. You're running after parnasa day and night, whatever it is that's it. Believe in the Kodesh Baruch Hu, ask him, and do whatever it is that you're going to do. The Asas Hashem Yisokum. It says, we say in Hallel, Rabos Machshavos Velevish, a lot of thoughts in the heart of men. The Asas Hashem Yisokum. The advice of the Kodesh Baruch Hu, that's the thing that's going to last. Rabbi Chaim Rojan used to say, the Asas Hashem Yisokum, stand. In other words, you got a job. You're learning Shiva, waiting for Shidduch. Whatever it is that you do, keep on doing it. Don't start, no, that's parnasa, this parnasa is not, this profession is not good. I'm going to look for something else. Stay, remain. When it'll come your time to move on to something else, Kodesh Baruch Hu is going to take you up and going to put you there. This is a big musar, not only in parnasa, but also in Avodas Hashem B'chlal. People, especially young people, are looking, for charismatic leaders and whatever it is people need. So, okay, this one, okay, he's not, how about this one? Maybe this one, maybe this one, maybe this one. You find somebody, stick with him. Especially when you are, in the Kurv to one of Talmidei Rabbeinu, it doesn't matter who he is, as long as he's a Breslover and he is, he's a Kodesh, he doesn't fool around with this kind of, of impurity concept, and he keeps halacha, it's fine. When Rabbeinu wants you to be mekarv to somebody else, he will pick you up and bring to somebody else. Don't worry about it. No. Who from Talmidei Rabbeinu is the right one to be mekarv? No, maybe you need to have Odessa. Maybe you need to go to this. Maybe you go to where you are, stay. When it'll come time for you to move on, Rabbeinu will move you on. Don't worry about it. For us, it's the same thing. Remain where you are. Because when I started working in a supermarket, they told me, they were really having a home to give me the job or not, because they said, how can we fire you? How will we be able to fire you? I mean, it's like an older guy in the company taking the job. There's a girl sit down, passing up the product. Say, no, you don't like it, it's not good. Okay, you send it away, you get another one. You know, what years, how we can't do that. So I told him, I'm telling you flat out, I'm going to stay here until you tell me to go. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to leave on my own. When you tell me to go, I'm going to go. And actually got an offer for another job, was paying more. I said, no, I can't leave. I told him I'm going to stay. So sure enough, came the time. I got a phone call from the owner. Says, okay, adios, amigo. Goodbye. See you around. And then I got a different job. And that, because Baruch Hu took me from one job to another. Stay where you are, because this is Yeshiva Das. Because Baruch Hu is going to be the one who's going to save you. Because the thing that keeps a person poor is his Das. You think like a poor man, you will be a poor man. You think like a wealthy man, you will be wealthy. It's not me, it's Zohar says it. After a poor person, poverty is running. A person creates his own poverty with the poverty in his mind, the way he captures himself. There's certain people who always be balechayvus. Certain people, the minute you give them a credit card with lines of credits, whatever it is, before you know it, 800,000, a million shekels, chayvus, 2 millions, 3 millions. There was a guy, I was dealing with a company that helped these kind of people, who was, megalgel, was recycling 50 million shekels a month. Borrowing, returning, and borrowing 50 million shekels a month. Probably not for one person, from a lot of different people. But being that he was probably obviously he was very tichtig. I mean, he was returning money. It wasn't just that he kept on borrowing and borrowing money. He was paying back, paying back. But being in his mind, in fact, most of the people, most of the Haredi community, the people in the Haredi community, almost like 2/3 of them are in gewaltige debts because of credit cards and because of all these kind of, So you need a das. You need a das. You go to somebody, gives you aids of what to do, how to do this. Yeah, but it's painful. Start living with the budget. Listen, if you declare bankruptcy, it's a lo naim, it's like but then suddenly you realize that sanity has returned to your life. A person live like a nut. I know about myself. It's not, I have to go look at others. If you don't have the das, go to somebody else who has the das. He can give you the odds you. It's unpleasant. Okay. The das is the thing that parnasa benok. Ki kol mi shechaser das beyoser. Anybody, the more a person lacks das, we give it to her parnasa beyoser. He is working harder and harder to get parnasa. He's running. He's making deals. He has ideas. He's opening up business. He's closing up a business. He's doing this. Actually, I heard the best eitzah about opening a business from a guy. And he said, people come to me and ask me if they should open a business. So he says, I always tell them, if you know yourself that you are the type of guy that takes care of everything, and you don't leave things in the middle, you do everything, whatever you do until it's done, then yes, open a business. If you know that, okay, that's not really fun. Don't open a business. It's a marvelous eitzah. Yeshiva das. Yeah, but working at others in the supermarket, come on. Where's the fun in that, right? You know, last week's parsha, we learned about Saito. The husband is jealous, and she's impure. The husband is jealous, and she's impure or pure. And then we learn the parsha of Nazir. Nazir makes a neder, and we know that the neder in Nazirus, the neder is a wonder, is a pella. Person takes something which is dvar heter, and he can turn it into isodoraisa. Makes a neder, that asers, Coke Zero on him. It's for him, drinking Coke Zero is like eating pork. So why is so? Rashi says, why Pasus Nazir is right after Saito. Anybody sees Saito, we can kulo. He shouldn't drink wine. Shouldn't. Nosson says something else completely. He's a moyedi kavod. Nosson says, when does a person make a nidre nazirus, something to keep him away from what the Yetzer Hara is leading him? He says when he becomes jealous of himself, about himself, like a husband is about his wife. I don't think Yetzer Hara is treating me like I'm his property. I'm doing whatever he wants. He leads me by the nose. What is this? It's a kinna. It's a jealousy. If I'm not jealous, means I don't really care. The Zohar says, I think the Gemara said, the Zohar says, any love that doesn't entail jealousy within it is not true love. If you're not jealous, then you don't really love. Oh, okay. The same thing is that, your body, your corporeal body, your physical life, as it were, is your wife, the wife of your neshama. What does it mean? The Yetzer Hara suddenly it's like somebody else. Chas v'chalila takes a person's wife. What do you mean? You think he takes my life and leads it in the garden? No, it's it. It's a moyedic concept. Comes a kinna on himself. And this kinna, it's just like Soita. Either, Shem Racha, or if a person doesn't, it like the Soita that is pure, is Yoled Berevach, he's successful, he's go oilim alamal. The person needs to confront himself. Confront the Yetzer Hara. Sometimes the person needs to put his foot down. And sometimes a person needs to feel this jealousy. What do you mean? That's a dasamiti. The Gemara talks about whether a husband should be mekana his wife, or his wife he should be mekana his wife. There's a whole there's a whole halach yelach about this Indian. Lemaisa, they said they shouldn't tell her not to be misater because today we don't have esamikdash. She can't. It's all kinds of technical reasons what a person should do or shouldn't do. But this says what is the kinna that is mekana? The Gemara says this is ruach tahara. It's a spirit of purity. A person should feel about himself the same thing. He's treating me, the Yetzer Hara is treating me, excuse me, like what is this? How dare he? What do you think I am? Shem Yazor, Zat Hashem. Have a good Shabbos. Three Parshas Raglim. Not an easy time. Also, what's the whole reason of the Meraglim? Once we go to Eretz Yisrael, now we are leaders. We're going to go to Eretz Yisrael. We're going to be cashiers in the supermarket.
Yeah.
We're not going to have our status. We're not going to keep that. That's what the Meraglim said. Okay. Shem Rachel. And Anias Elam Minadas. Hashem Yazov, Hashem will have B'rat Hashem Geulah Shlomo sooner nowadays, and we're zeichet to see B'vias Mashiach Tzidkenu B'rat Hashem sooner nowadays. Call to be Matzliach. Let's see how they close this thing. Everybody's
Toda Rabba. Toda Rabba.
call to Batzlach.